Hey Riders, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video where we're going to be talking about Kamen Rider Saber episode 2 and I kind of really like this. So this has just recently come out, hopefully by the time this video comes out. But yeah, let's talk about it. But if you like this sort of content and you want to see more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. Let's just jump straight into it. Pretty much we leave off exactly where we were, and this is a guy called Shindo, or they call him Rintaro, which I don't know who to call. I kind of like Shindo more, so I might call him Shindo, but I might swap between the names. So he has entered the bookshop on a lion. Gotta admit, that's how you make an entrance. And I love how Mai and Tomoru are kind of like jumping about like, oh my god, who is this person? Because if a lion's going to come into your house, what are you going to do at your shop? What are you going to do? Find out that he is a good guy. And when I kind of saw this, because you see him briefly in the kind of like the previous episode, but I kind of thought that he was one of the bad guys in this. I know we've seen his face in the press thing, but when I was watching, I was like, could this be a bad guy? As Shindo kind of starts talking about a few things, they're all kind of going like, what are we talking about? Like, what do you mean? And, you know, he starts talking about who he is. Part of the Sword of Logos. And they name it something different, but when it said logos, I was just like, every single logo in the world, he is the protector of. So with this, he instantly kind of like opens up this door to a HQ, and they all think it's like an anywhere door. It leads to the base, which I've got to admit, it's in the North Pole. Didn't expect that at all. And we've got like Sophia. She is the guardian of the logo, Sword of Logo, but she kind of gives like kind of a background to what's going on, and we find out, again, made notes. Caliber is the main bad guy, the knight that we saw in the previous episode, and they have the Megiddo, I think I said that right, and they are the kind of bad guys. And then you've got the monsters of the manuscripts, which brilliant. Absolutely love that. 15 years ago, they kind of stole all the books, or the Wonderland books, and now they're turning them evil and they're using them, and that's fine. Like, you know, that is the story. So I kind of like the fact it's like 15 years ago when whatever Kamen Rider was out, if you know, put it in the comments, that people were interacting with these Kamen Riders. So I kind of think that's kind of cool. So as they say, like, oh, they found that these bad guys are taking over, and they've opened up this other portal, and they go and find it. And Shindo talks about all this. But then all of a sudden, Mai just comes in on a bike, and I was like, brilliant, Mai, brilliant. And she kind of pushes them into the portal, which then leads them to this new world. And I generally was like, I'm loving this. I want more of this kind of like humor. This is how you do humor. So watch this, Power Rangers. That's how you kind of do humor. So Shindo transforms because he sees all these bad guys, and they're all ant kind of based bad guys. Which again was a very interesting thing, because it does lead into books where they talk about how the queen controls all the ants, so that they will do what she says, and they use this. So at first I was like, oh, is this like a kind of a book thing that they're using? You know, is it in the sort of kind of realm and style of like fairy tale books and stuff like that, or is this actually like knowledge books that they're using? So I like this quite a bit. So there are two kind of bad guys in this. You have the Queen Ant, which looks exactly like all the others, but no kind of like difference, which you can normally tell with the Queen and like a drone. And then you have the main bad guy. Now, I don't know if they announced the name of the character, like the bad guy. They normally don't, which is kind of a bit weird, because it's more like, oh, here's a monster. And then you're like, but what is that monster's name? And I can't remember if they actually talked about it or if the subs picked it up. If you know, let me know down below in the comments. So all the ant monsters look the same, and it kind of reminded me of like, I think it was the last two Kamen Riders with Zeno, where you had the evil masked riders and they looked completely different. So that kind of worked to me, where I thought, oh, that's a bit different. As these like general bad guys, and I think you're going to be able to tell much later on, is that they have these glowing books, which I'm guessing is going to be the Wonderland books, that when they turn good, that they give more powers. So you kind of see this happening because Tomoru as well as Shindo, I'm going to have to remember the names, they see that Mai gets hurt due to a headache, and just therefore they take her back to the kind of the real world. And Tomoru says, like, no, we've got to defeat them, we've got to do this, we've got to go at them. And it goes on for some time. But Tomoru gets a brand new book, which is basically a bike. So Kamen Rider is not Kamen Rider without a motorbike. We see this happening, and how is it? It's like they use it, they go around, they go through the city, they destroy all the ants that are trying to attack them. Shindo kills the ant queen, which is fine. He gets the Jack and the Beanstalk book, and thus therefore the main bad guy just pops in and is like, hey, you can't catch me, and flies away, which is fine. This is when Tomoru turns around and uses the book, turns into a new form of Kamen Rider, which we've seen in the trailers, and then with this uses the power to make a giant beanstalk that rapidly grows. Was not expecting this. Generally was thought it was going to shoot up, knock the bad guy out of the air, and then they were going to do it. But also Tomoru in his Saber form does the Kamen Rider kick. I was like, yes, 2 kicks in this episode, yes. And then takes down the bad guy. And then the bad guys, they kind of see what's going on. The book starts writing itself, which then leads into the kind of like them finding out more about it. And it kind of starts wrapping up. We meet a new guy who is going to be the 3rd Kamen Rider. So I'm very surprised that we're getting so many Kamen Riders straight away. My kind of knowledge is that you have 1, and then much later on you have like the next lot that come in. So it's kind of nice seeing that in 3 episodes we're getting 3 Kamen Riders, but you do obviously see the 3rd one, which I think they call it Lightning Strike or Lightning something or other, because it's at the very end of the episode in the preview at the top where I was reading it. So you kind of like bring it in. So for me, this episode was great. I really enjoyed this one. I feel like they moved so fast into everything rather than kind of slowly building up to it. And normally I'm a bit for story building, but I also kind of really want it to happen now. So I really want them to get many books of the Wonderland books, and I also really want more fight scenes. Now the fighting in this was perfect. I really enjoyed it, and I wanted more of it. So for me, this was something that was that I was happy about, and I can't wait for the kind of like the next episode. I've got to admit, when they close it, the character, which is like Tassel, I really like Tassel. I think he's like a really cool character. He's my 2nd favorite character so far. Mai being the 1st one, and then Tassel being the 2nd one. But I just love the fact it's like, what's going to happen? But it feels like a story. Like it feels like they've made it into a storybook thing. So it's telling you that one. And I just generally think that's cool. But I am going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on this? Did you like the 2nd episode of Kamen Rider Saber? Are you enjoying it so far like I am? What are your kind of expectations for this? And can you see multiple riders turning up, or even like kind of crossovers? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you like this sort of content and you want to see more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as a cheeky notification bell to be notified when the next video drops. Thank you very much for joining me on this journey, riders, and I'll catch you in the next video.